Hi everyone, welcome to another How to Country, and today we're going to be talking about kale, all different kinds of kale. And we're going to be specifically going over when do we plant it, when did we start our kale, how do we protect it from pests like deer, all the different questions on how we grew our kale here. We're close to the end of the season. And we have this kale here, which is a very old, it's a red Russian kale. It's a really nice heirloom kale. Then you have the dinosaur kale, which has a longer leaf to it. And then my favorite kale, which is over here, which is the curly kale. So we have a couple different varieties. We have dwarf curled, we have Vate's blue curly kale, and they're just a really nice all-around kale. Really low bug disturbance, almost no bug disturbance at all, which is a really important thing. You need to try different ones in your area to see, do you have any bugs getting in that variety in your area, because every area is different. All kales are super winter hardy, so that's a really awesome thing about kale, is that they can go through a frost and they have no issues. Some of them can even go through winter and there's no problems going through winter. Snowing on it, you can even harvest it in the snow. There's no problem. Some places, if the plant isn't over harvested, where it's just a stalk, it'll actually come back in the spring. Sometimes you can cover it with a little bit of, maybe some cloth, some, hay or straw or something like that, so that it's extra protected, and then it'll start growing again in the spring. So we're going to talk a little bit about starting your kale. Now, these were all started in our seedling greenhouse early in the spring in trays, and then were transplanted out here. And we found that they get just a lot bigger earlier, faster. We can start them sooner and start harvesting a lot earlier than if we straight seed them. It does work good to straight seed. We can straight seed them here, but if you want kale earlier, start them earlier in the greenhouse and then transplant them out into the field. So like I said, we do beds. So we actually have 2 rows of kale. And we've planted them anywhere from a foot to 16 inches apart because they get to be big plants. And if they're too close together, the plants don't spread out really nicely. And the fuller they are, the better these beautiful leaves end up forming and the nicer kale you actually get. So giving them the room is really important. So you'll see I have a plant here, and then I have a plant over here, and then again, and one on this side. Same here. Here's one plant, then another plant, another plant, and another plant. So that area right here is only 8 plants in a 6-foot area, which gives them lots of space to grow nice and big. So the next thing you want to be thinking about is pests. Bugs is one thing, and you can use BTK for that. It's a bacteria mixed with water. You can spray it on. We've never had to do that here. But our biggest pest is probably one of the biggest pests, which is deer. Behind me, you see some really nice, big, bushy kale plants. And these ones have all been chewed, and there's not much left. There is still some, but they're half the plant that they once were. So keeping the deer out is going to be an issue, especially if you have a lot of deer in your area and they like kale. But that's something you want to think about, is where is your kale, and is it protected from things like deer or other things that might like to nibble on it just as much as you. So what are some things that you can use kale for? There's so many things you can do with kale. You can dehydrate it, you can make kale chips, those are fantastic. You can make it a salad. Just have it fresh and chop it up and make a lovely kale salad. Other things that you can do with kales, you can put them in smoothies. So if you'd like to try kale, this is a very easy plant to grow, and it just keeps producing. If you start picking the kale, start picking the bottom leaves, leave the top center ones. As long as you leave the top center leaves, it's gonna keep growing and growing and growing and putting out more and more and more leaves, and you just get to keep harvesting it. So you can get a lot of kale. If you haven't grown too much, this is a fantastic starter plant packed with really awesome nutrients. If you like this video and you'd like to see more How to Country videos, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a video. We'll see you next time.